Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of the Selfmatic Podcast. And my name is Brian.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Steve-O.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking to you about what it means to us to be selfmatic and what the word means exactly. To me, the word means, willing to do oneself. It's almost like the word automatic. And, to live in the pursuit of your passion, whatever drives you, whatever you fall in love with doing. So that's my meaning of it, and I believe it's going to mean something different to everybody. So, Andrew, what exactly do you think it means to you?
Kind of along the same lines, it means to me, doing what you love in life and, not worried about being judged on, those things you do and just being able to enjoy life and be yourself in life. That's selfmatic to me. What about you, Steve-O?
To me, I think selfmatic is, being self-driven and being self-positive and being the best self that you can be in any way, shape, and form that you channel any kind of, whether work, friendships, being social, so on and so forth. I feel it applies to many forms of daily routines.
Kind of like, you want to be the best you that you possibly can. Even like with work, like you always try to bring the best you possible. But it's a lot easier to do that when you're actually doing something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely agree with that.
And yeah, I feel like a lot of people get kind of stuck in that trap of the 9 to 5, They go to college, they get their degree, and then now there's no jobs for the degrees that people are getting, in this day and age. So more or less people are just kind of getting the jobs that are available to them and that they can get. They're just grabbing up whatever they can.
And then they end up being miserable a little bit later on in life. And, it's a rough circle to go through.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I fell into it. So
everybody's kind of chasing the American dream, which is slowly faded off over the last, couple of decades. And it's almost become non-existent. It's so hard to get into something that you're very passionate about and be successful and make a living and pay bills and so on and so forth,
Yeah. And that's why I feel like a lot of people now, they're using social media a lot, like Instagram and Twitter to kind of basically build themselves as a brand, like their name, their own body is a brand,
which in a way would be being selfmatic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Touche.
Exactly. So for everybody out there that's kind of listening to this and thinking like, well, yeah, that's kind of what I do, and I don't want to get stuck in that 9 to 5 job, or how do I get out of that 9 to 5 job? Well, that's more or less the point of this podcast that we have for you today. Maybe not this episode, but the podcast in general. We want to inspire people, and we want to motivate people and talk to people, and
it'll give them the tools and the knowledge to be able to pursue finding what you enjoy doing in life and be able to not necessarily make a living at it, but to find a way to incorporate that into your living to make you a little bit happier in life.
Totally agree. What were you going to say?
Couldn't agree more.
Oh, okay. So yeah, our plans here are to, bring on guests that have done this or that are working towards this, more or less ourselves, but we want to have other people on.
I agree with that. Yes. Yeah.
Touch base with people that are just as much as inspired as we are to get out there, even though as frightening as it might be to try something new or to step out of your realm, your normal realm and
well, not only that, but
embrace.
People just listen to three guys talking on a podcast, about our ideas. It'd be more encouraging having other people come on and be like, okay, well, it's not just these three guys; it's multiple people out there.
Right. Yeah. We could preach our own idea, and it'll be monotone.
Yeah, exactly. But trying to hearing other people's, what they've been through, the ups and downs of trying to get to where they're at with doing what they love. That's what we want to share with our listeners. So that way they can know that, okay, well, I might hit this road, this harsh road, but I know what I need to do to push through it in order to get on the, the happier side of it.
Right. Yeah, and it's not. I've learned so much, just in this past year of getting things started. I can't believe it's taken this long, but
it has been a bumpy road.
It's taken quite a while, and it actually, between me and Andrew, it's been well over the past decade that this venture kind of started. We threw a New Year's Eve party. It was about 10 years ago. I think we were like 19.
Yeah, I had 19, no older than 20.
Yeah, and because we weren't really legally allowed to buy the beer yet. So. But yeah, Andrew had the idea of his thing was love and hate clothing, and
all it was just a clothing company. It was like, oh, I wanted to be one of those guys. It's like, I want to do a clothing company. But I had no real drive behind it. It was just, I saw the people doing it, and when I was young, I was like, well, I'm just going to make millions doing this. And boy, was I wrong.
That's the millennial idea right there.
It is the millennial idea. It is. But I was way, way wrong.
So, long story short, we got some iron-on patches, got some cheap shirts, and made some T-shirts that eventually fell apart after we washed them.
Yeah, it was a disaster. They lasted for the night though, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was worth it. But so then last year, around this time last year, the conversation got brought up between the two of us again. He was wanting to start to get back into the love and hate and doing clothing, and my path, I was wanting to do something for my own as well, and I was wanting to get into podcasting and be some kind of like motivational speaker. I really had no idea what I wanted to do, but I had a general sense, and we kind of just meshed the two and
created this and created Selfmatic. And then, then we had Steve come along and, had with his inspiration ideas to us to help, push us even further. I mean, he's been a motivation to me to help, just different ideas of different things to do, and because I can only think one way, and have the more people we have with feedback and stuff, it just made it that much better.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot. And to go hand in hand with that, I mean, this has been an amazing experience. I mean, to do this with best friends. We're best friends. I mean, how much better does it get? I mean, the idea is rock solid. I mean, everything behind it is just 2 thumbs up.
And to no avail, we really have one of the best graphic designers in the world.
We really do. In my opinion, he's done some pretty cool work.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah. And in a really short time span, too. Like, he's gone above and beyond. Plus, like we were talking about earlier, he's working his own, 9-to-5 job. And in his off time, he's trying to help build this because it's, it's his passion and it's his drive to do something that he loves.
Yep. And to give him credit, that would be my little brother Jonathan, who's equally as much a part of this as the three of us.
Agreed.
And it's amazing how I can just tell him, like, hey, this is my thoughts 1, 2, and 3, and he comes up with what he comes up with. I don't have that mind.
Neither do I.
Yeah,
I can picture it. Kind of rough sketch in my head, like, okay, here. We want this, this, and this. Like with one of our designs, the 100% American flag shirt. We just want to, say, pretty much, we added this weird little sketch out. We said, here, give him that drawing, and then we said, well, we don't want to just be like that. Try doing this and throw some different splatter stuff in there, just kind of see what it looks like. And what he did with that was just amazing, and everyone that we've shown the design has loved it, so we can't wait to release that to, everyone out there who's listening now.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one, especially with all this political stuff going on right now. Like, being an American and representing being an American really means a lot to a lot of people.
It really does.
Yeah, it does.
And so that one's actually gotten more liking than our actual stamp.
our actual logo itself.
Yeah. So... yeah, I'm excited to see, people go for that one, even though I'd like to have the stamp design goes well, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think they'll be just as equally, what's the word I'm looking for? Successful, if you will, in their own way. You know, the meaning behind the 100% American flag is, I mean, as you just said, but then also our brand stamp is, you know,
they will turn into something. I think inspirational. Those people will be like, "Hey, what is that shirt?" Like, "Oh, you know, let's
exactly." As soon as the popularity, you know, gets up there a little bit more, and people kind of get a better feel and understanding for, you know, who we are, what we're about, what this means. You know, I feel that our brand will be just as impactful.
I agree with that,
and that's really one important thing that we actually want to bring to the company is transparency. You know, the fact that we're nothing special. We're 3-4 average dudes, you know, doing this as a side job, hoping to make it, you know, into something more than it is each and every day. And it's all about, you know, that daily grind. Gotta go to work and make your money to support yourself, and then we gotta do this even if we don't want to.
Yep.
You know, every night last week I went to work, came home, worked till about 10 o'clock at night, slept 5 hours, repeat.
It was a very, very long week.
I was dead tired by Friday night.
It was a very long week. I think we were all equally drained, physically and emotionally, if you will. But for me, it was that much more rewarding.
Oh yeah.
After this last weekend,
I have to agree with that. 100%.
It was so rewarding and just so much. You know, I just felt really good about the whole deal, all of us, and everything we got going on. It just, you know, it lit a fire inside me that did. You know, you get a taste for it, and you know, now you're hungry, you're starving for it. You know, and that's kind of.
That's the key for the company right there is that fire. So yeah, that week just. And basically all we were doing was just getting everything ready for the Saturday photo shoot, which once that was complete and now we're waiting for photos to come back, then we're going to be launching our Indiegogo campaign that is about halfway put together right now. And that's where we're hoping to get some help from you guys, and that's where you'll be able to find this video as well as YouTube. With that site, it's just going to be telling you a little bit more about who we are, where we come from, and you'll be able to, you know, there's perks with the website. You'll be able to order T-shirts, and by ordering T-shirts, you're going to be helping us out, you know, to be able to bring you this content and, you know, this motivation and stuff like that, because all this content is free.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
All this time that we're going to be spending, you know, podcasting and hiring, you know, bringing on guests and doing interviews and stuff like that. That's not going to, you know, cost you anything, and really we're not going to make any money off of it either. So unless we get sponsors, but that'll be a minute, I think.
A long minute. Long minute.
Yeah, I'm not hoping.
Not without of reach, but
no, definitely not.
Just not yet.
Yeah,
we're still a little.
I don't think that's
we're still
happen anytime
a little
soon.
fresh.
So, so I had a question, not to throw you guys too off guard, but I was just curious because we've come so far in just a year. And granted, we haven't really launched anything, but just getting everything sorted out and figuring out all the oddball ends and all that stuff. I'm curious how you guys feel where we're going to be in another year.
Where I want to be? Or
yeah, realistically, where do you feel like this can go, and where do you feel like we will be? So, like, I'll give you my thought. I'll give you an example.
Go ahead, kick it off, B.
I feel like in a year from now, where I want to be, where I would like to be in a year from now, is have our own actual office. Instead of doing this out of our home,
I see what you're asking now. Okay.
have an actual office.
It would really be nice to have an office. It definitely would. I mean, not saying we don't have enough space here, but it would just be nice to, just make it seem more successful. Not necessarily successful, that's the wrong word to use. I'd say more professional. Mm-hmm. Instead of having to have guests come, to our house where we live, it'd be nice to be like, hey, this is our office. Let's meet here. We'll do our podcast with you. Spend about 30, 45 minutes. Not longer than an hour. So on and so forth. And then also be able to have a place for, all of our apparel for the store, which will help also, drive the company as well. Trying to find places in a house where, there's not much room in a house when you think about it. Your garage is full of, tools and whatnot. And, you can't put it in a living room where people are going to be, hanging out. And
right.
So definitely, what you said about, being in a store, not necessarily a storefront, but just being able to have like an office would be really, really nice in the year.
I feel that, first off and foremost, sky's the limit,
Of course.
Sky is the limit. And, I feel that in a year, being in an office, regardless whether it's a hole in the wall or whatever we come across, not only will it be a place to better organize ourselves and keep track of things, but, when we're doing this stuff here in the comfort of our own home, I feel that it's a little different. It doesn't really seem so much, I don't want to call it like work, but it is like work.
Right.
As opposed to if we were at a designated, I feel that it would be a lot easier to stay focused. I feel that it would be a lot easier to come up with better ideas, more positive ideas, and a way to better channel what we got going on.
I agree with that. I think being at this house or being in our house, you just have that lax mindset.
Exactly. It's a little more, like I said, you're in the comfort of your home. I mean, how hard is it to get up and walk 10 feet and go grab a beer out of the fridge, As opposed to, if we were all, focused and what was in front of us, the daily or weekly routine or however, we find ourselves set up with.
Right. And I agree 100% with what you guys both had to say. And my point for bringing up the question was because you can, have all these thoughts and ideas and aspire for everything in the world. The one thing you said was the sky's the limit. Yes, that's true. But if you literally visualize where you're going to be, if you can see it in your head, as opposed to just writing it down or talking about it, if you can visualize it, I feel like it's that much more set in stone for you.
That much more likely to...
That much more attainable.
Yes, that much more attainable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I know I've done that, excuse my language, 2 or 3 times a week, especially on those days where you're like, man, I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. I don't want to paint this table. I've been doing it for 3 days. So that's my thought process on the whole thing, and that's kind of thing for you listeners out there that we're going to be bringing to you guys. Not just our daily failures or triumphs or stuff like that. Just maybe the way we think might help you, and just like Steve-O brought up good points that I didn't even think about, and same with Andrew. So
that's why we're a team, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's good to talk about your ideas in an open forum, like that.
I agree.
So we're winding down this. We could talk about where you can find us and how to follow us, get a hold of us. We have a website that is about, I'd say 80%.
About 80% done, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
The website for that is www.weareselfmatic.com.
And that's all written out.
Yeah, sorry, that's WEARESELFMATIC.
Well, you didn't have to say that.
Just to make this.
I got you.
Just helping everyone out.
And this video podcast is going to be on YouTube, probably first it'll be on YouTube, and then it takes a couple days for iTunes to accept our request. So then you'll also be able to find it on iTunes and on SoundCloud. Steve-O, where can they follow us on Instagram?
At Selfmatic.
It's simple as that.
Yeah.
I like it. Very simple. We also are launching a Twitter. I believe it's just at Selfmatic as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Either all of our social media is either at Selfmatic or at We Are Selfmatic.
Okay.
I don't remember. I believe Twitter's We Are Selfmatic.
It is We Are Selfmatic. Yes, it is We Are Selfmatic.
Yeah. So and we're not quite the tweeters, so that
Excuse us.
Yeah,
Bear with
excuse
us
us.
for
Yeah.
getting content on there. We will get better at it.
It's not quite our thing. We like to make videos and take pictures. So, well, that'll bring us to a conclusion. Is there anything else that you guys want to add into this?
No, I mean, the only thing I'd like to say is, just bear with us, and I hope you guys, your listeners out there, enjoy what we bring to the table.
Yeah, same here. I'd like to thank our listeners, and I hope that you guys find this as equally entertaining and as fun as we do.
And if there's anything that you guys want to hear about or have us talk about as far as business goes, or if there's any topics or anything like that comes to your mind, please just put a comment or there's something and let us know, and we'll make sure that we try and bring it up on our next podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. Thank you.